I am really sick and tired of being a part of this materialistic society. It seems as if everyone's priorities are in the wrong places. Money, for example. What is the point of living our lives for the accumulation of money? When I die and am no longer a part of this world, is that money going to affect me in any way?
No, it most certainly will not.
So why is it important when I am alive? Why are we taught that money equals happiness when that is the furthest thing from the truth? When I reflect on my life and remember what has made me the most happy, it has always been the people who were in my life, the fun I had with them, the memories I made with them. I believe that sharing ourselves with others, taking care of the environment, and making a difference in the world is what currency really is. Not stupid pieces of paper or minerals dug up from the ground and made into coins, or numbers and figures on a computer screen. It's nonsense.
I have thought about this for a long time, and in all my years of self-reflection I have come to the conclusion that money breeds scarcity, and it makes people distrust one another. It is the root of all evil because it distances us from each other instead of bringing us together. If money was such an amazing thing in our lives, shouldn't it make everyone happier? Instead, it does the opposite.
That is absolutely correct. Look at how much suffering is happening all across our planet, and it's all because of one thing.
Money.
It is so obvious when you stop and think about it. Look at people and countries who are constantly fighting because they are struggling to impose their power and control over one another. Once their control is established, they then struggle to maintain it. It is a never-ending cycle of anger, manipulations, and destruction.
If money is the reason that our global population is experiencing so many problems, then the way to solve those problems is simple. Eliminate the cause of the problem and the problem will minimize in intensity and frequency.
You mean get rid of money completely?
Correct.
But how can we get rid of money? It is so ingrained in our minds and society. Everything revolves around money. You cannot go a single day without exchanging money for a service or a product somehow.
That is exactly my point. In order to survive, you need to have money. That money is exchanged for a product or a service. Let's use the example of food and shelter. If I have the money to buy food and shelter, and you do not, eventually you will start feeling resentment towards me, since I am comfortable and enjoying life, while you are suffering and trying to figure out how to survive.
I see.
Over time you will become increasingly desperate to find ways of accumulating the same things I have. You may even resort to violence. That violence is what we see on the news. It is not that people are bad and are doing bad things, they are simply trying to survive in a backwards society.
So the solution is make sure that everyone has food and shelter, correct? That no one is left out of having the basic necessities of life.
Exactly. If everyone had...
Hold on, let me interrupt you and see if I understand your concepts. If everyone had the necessities of life, then nobody would fight over someone else's belongings because they themselves would already be in possession of them. People would be much happier. If everyone is happier, then we would also be safer, as we would not be afraid of who might hurt us due to feelings of resentment and anger because of having something they don't. Money is what is holding us back from this particular existence because it keeps people against each other instead of coming together and taking care of one another. As long as money is what we measure life with, we will always have social, political, and national problems.
I believe you now understand.
Peace is possible.
Now you know why we need to eliminate money from society, in order for everyone to be happier. We will now discuss how we can achieve that. For a long time now we have lived in a monetary society. A society that is built around the circulation of money in order to go about daily life. However, the time has come for us to evolve into a new way of living. A resource-based economy is the most logical system to embrace. It is a system which takes into account the global resources available to all human beings. Every human being would be taken care of, not just a select few wealthy individuals. Physical labor would be non-existent as machines would do the work for us. In essence, We would become free to do whatever we wanted to do. Look at how much human labor has been phased out because of technology. We have been witnessing the mechanization of labor for decades already, and it will only continue to increase. It is simply not being executed in the most efficient way, because of the underlying issue of people needing jobs in order to earn money, which in turn fuels the purchasing of products and services.
But people have always had jobs. What will people do once they no longer have to work?
Once people experience the freedom of a resource-based economy, they will work towards making sure the system prospers. People will be free to live out their passions. If someone would like to travel the world, then they would do just that. If someone else would like to study medicine or paleontology, then they would live out that particular ambition, without the fear of not having the money to pay for travel tickets or to pay for tuition. People would immediately live healthier and more fulfilling lives. With everyone doing exactly what they want to do, our human race would recondition itself into a very loving, nurturing, and caring society.
I'm digging this. It should always have been this way. However, I have to admit, it does come across as very idealistic.
It is not idealistic at all. It is the most realistic way to live our lives. Based on the technological knowledge we possess today, this is a real possibility for our global population. It could have been implemented 100 years ago, if people had been properly educated about what is possible. What has prevented us from going down the path of a resource-based economy is simply the monetary system.
Okay, enough chit-chatting. Let's make this happen already. Peace is possible.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. Peace is absolutely possible.
I recently had a conversation with someone about changing our way of thinking for the benefit of our human race. It's called a resource-based economy. I have researched it and I think it's a very realistic concept.
Isn't that related to something called the Venus Project?
Yes, that's correct. A man named Jack Fresco has worked his entire life to arrive at realistic answers, which he has put forth by his organization called the Venus Project. I find it very exciting.
On the contrary, I find it silly and illogical.
How come? Why do you say that?
Because I have looked into it as well, and I think it's nothing more than socialism. I'm totally against it.
I can understand your frustration. It's difficult to think outside the box when you are used to a certain reality. However, your opinion is not an educated one. Socialism still operates within the monetary system. It does not take into account the resources of the earth, or eliminate obsolete and meaningless jobs either. Socialism, communism, capitalism, and any ism for that matter, are all ideas which have no relevance to nature, methods of production, the carrying capacity of the earth, or the betterment of the human species.
No, I disagree. With capitalism, people are rewarded for their hard work. The betterment of the human species comes from people competing with each other. Competition forces people to work hard for their rewards. If people don't work, then they don't get rewarded. Isn't that motivation enough for people? It's a simple concept, so why do we have to change it as you say? What is wrong with the way things are right now?
Because, with the way things are right now, we are using the monetary system to try and solve our problems. Problems are not solved entirely. Since people do not have enough money to solve everything, they prioritize where to spend the money they do have. In the process, new problems are formed. There are also the issues of wealthy individuals who have the money to revolutionize certain aspects of society for the betterment of every living organism on this planet, but choose not to, because it's counterproductive to them making a profit. Our problems are technical, not financial, and can be solved by technology, not money. But as long as we operate from a monetary system, we will never truly solve any of our problems. We are just churning them around like someone churning butter. Capitalism does not utilize our resources responsibly. Instead, it exploits them. In my opinion, that is hardly a simple concept.
Money is a resource, is it not? You said yourself that wealthy people have the money to revolutionize certain aspects of our society. Therefore, it is a resource. If you have money, then you can do what you want to do. If you don't, then you can't do what you want. I know it's not fair, but life isn't fair.
Money is not a resource, and it doesn't represent resources either. It does not have any relationship to the natural order of things. Money is only relevant in society when natural resources are scarce. It is built around constant, narrow-minded consumption with no regard whatsoever for the environment.
I cannot picture a world without money. We have always lived with it. This comes across to me as some sort of modern brainwashing.
We need to move forward into a reality where poverty, war, and environmental destruction are not tolerated any longer. What you are feeling is fear from letting go of your attachment to your current reality. Because of the conditioning that is directed upon you from governments, the media, religious institutions, and businesses. That is where the true brainwashing stems from. These institutions have a lot to lose if our current system were to change. But look at how much we are losing every single day, with environmental damage, human exploitation, and poor people dying in countries that are abundant in natural resources.
But it's human nature to be greedy. It's human nature to not care about our surroundings, or even other people. The only person I really care about is myself. The only goals I want to see being accomplished are my own. I could care less if everyone else is not being taken care of. What is most important is my own survival.
That mentality is what is going to destroy our human civilization and the environmental balance of this planet.
Wow! That is a really bold statement. So I am going to be responsible for destroying the human race, simply because I am looking out for my own interests? I'll repeat myself, you cannot change human nature.
There's no such thing as human nature. That is simply a justification for keeping things the same. We will not move forward as a civilization until people learn to identify and break down their own indoctrinations.
It sounds to me as if you are wanting some sort of utopia. You are aware that the Venus Project cannot, and will not, deliver us a utopian society, right?
I am fully aware that our reality will not be a utopia. That is not the expectation of a resource-based economy. It will not be perfect. However, remind yourself that our problems are technical, not financial. A resource-based economy is the best route to take based on our current technological knowledge, in order to utilize those technologies efficiently. I agree with you, in that it will not be a utopia, but it will certainly be a lot better than it is now.
I myself am enjoying my life, and I don't want things to change. I have lots of money in the stock market. More than most people. I'm powerful because of the influence my money provides me. The ideas we've discussed here are intriguing, but I don't believe that this can, or will ever become a reality.
I am sorry to hear that. Hopefully in the future you will realize that this new paradigm is the most rational step to take for our human civilization. One that would benefit every single living thing on our planet.
What is wrong? What seems to be the matter?
I guess I'm realizing that not everybody will be receptive to the concept of a resource-based economy.
Do not take it personally. People are so accustomed to their scripts that when offered a new paradigm, a lot of people will react to it with offense and anger.
How will a resource-based economy become a reality when people are so against it, simply because they are so used to their current conditioning?
Let's use the analogy of someone being in a long-term abusive relationship. Some individuals who find themselves in that situation will continue to stay in that relationship, even though it is painful, because the pain is familiar, and because of the time invested in it. The choice to leave an abusive relationship occurs when the pain and fear of not knowing what happens once they leave is less than the pain and fear of continuing to stay in it. Does that make sense?
Are you saying that people will not be open to the Venus Project until the pain and fear of staying in the monetary system is so great that people will leave that system to look for a better one?
Precisely. People choose to change their reality once they know they deserve better. Until then, people allow their reality to stay the same, because that is what they are accustomed to. Social change does not arise due to intellect, it comes about by people suffering. When people no longer have respect for our current system, they will then seek out a new direction.
To me it seems as if the monetary system is an abusive relationship.
Indeed. To both human beings and our environment.
It is essential that our global population learn to live harmoniously with the environment. The reason we exist in the first place is because our environment allows us to interact with it, and therefore, survive because of it. The mentality that we are superior to nature is a dangerous one to have.
From a young age we are taught that we are separated from nature, that we are disconnected from the environment because we possess intelligence. We are an inherent and interconnected part of our global environment. A resource-based economy would bring us back to the fundamental and unavoidable fact that we survive through a symbiotic relationship with the environment. To put it into perspective, all the atoms, molecules, and chemical compounds that make up your body, your house, your city, our ecosystems, our planet, and our solar system, all originated from the supernovas of stars in our galaxy. How can we possibly say that we are superior to nature, when from the beginning, we have always been molecularly bonded with everything around us? We are intimately connected to the environment in ways we have yet to discover and understand.
Since we are on the topic of planets and solar systems, do you think that space exploration will be a reality for every single person on our planet one day?
Unquestionably, the answer is yes. However, I don't feel that our civilization is mature enough to venture out into our cosmic backyard.
How come?
The USA, Russia, Japan, Canada, China, and plenty of other countries have all head out into outer space. The USA has planted their national flag on the moon. Does this mean that the USA has ownership over the moon simply because they arrived there first? Will the USA start selling property on the moon, and if so, who gets to own those properties? Once again we come back to the issues of the monetary system.
I think I see where you are going with this.
Nationalism is an artificial boundary, which needs to be taken care of first, prior to departing into outer space. If we are not leaving Earth as one people, then we are not yet ready. Nationalism fosters the mentality that we are disconnected and are different from each other, just as we are taught that we are disconnected from nature. It also stimulates destructive materialism. For instance, whatever resources are found in Iraq are in Iraq's possession. Other countries take those resources by initiating and executing war. The Venus Project declares that the world's resources are the common heritage of all the world's people.
I am realizing that the common theme society teaches us is that we are separated and distanced from everything around us. Distanced from each other by national borders, separated from nature. Can you imagine living in a society where we have eliminated the monetary system and nationalism? We wouldn't be held back by financial constraints and budgets.
Very true.
Why can't every conversation be straightforward such as this one, when explaining these ideas to someone? It's discouraging to come across individuals who are quick to dismiss the concepts presented by the Venus Project, even before researching and exploring them.
Remember, once people become angry and frustrated enough within the monetary system, only then will they choose to explore a more efficient system. Until that major shift happens, educating people about the possibilities which the Venus Project puts forward is the best step to take. Enlighten people about harnessing geothermal energy, maglev technology for transportation, and the perpetual mechanization of labor. I find it more productive to stay optimistic when sharing the ideas put forth by Jacques Fresco and his Venus Project. Most people are aware that things are drastically damaged in our society. An unavoidable critical transformation is happening all over our planet. People are waking up. People are coming together. Because of us, our world is changing for the better.
Greetings. Welcome to the Venus Education Center. Today we will discuss the history of humankind. Specifically, how human beings moved away from the monetary system and embraced a resource-based economy. Our lesson begins 200,000 years ago. We see evidence of modern human beings first inhabiting the Earth at this time. 190,000 of those years were spent as hunter-gatherers, living in small nomadic groups. That means communities traveled seasonally with their pasture instead of settling down in one place. The first great revolution came with the invention of agriculture, 10,000 years ago. Humans now lived as farmers in permanent settlements and learned to domesticate animals. This led to the first surpluses, which then led to cities and civilization. The formation of states and military forces appeared 6 millennia ago, followed by the first expansive empires close to 3,000 years ago. These empires spread influential religions, such as Hinduism and Judaism. We saw the Middle Ages, from the 5th to the 15th century. The early European Renaissance is seen between the 14th to the 17th century. The 17th century brought about the scientific revolution. The Industrial Revolution appeared in the 18th and 19th centuries. The information age at the end of the 20th century would bring the global population together in the realization that we are all interconnected with one another. However, during the 1900s and into the early 21st century, human beings began to negatively alter the state of the Earth's ecosystems. In only 60 years, from the 1950s, the Earth experienced more severe environmental changes due to human influence in comparison to their entire 200,000-year history. This period in history was incredibly wasteful. The monetary system fostered and rewarded a mentality of neglecting environmental responsibilities. Much of human life was corrupt. Half the world's poor lived in resource-rich countries. The richest 2% of the population held half of the world's wealth. World governments spent 12 times more on military spending than on aid to developing countries. 80% of the energy consumed came from fossil fuels, even though it was an outdated form of energy. Fear of scarcity and greed were created and amplified. The direct consequence of this was that humans had to compete with each other in order to survive. True change ultimately arose not through politics or financial bailouts, but by a new way of distributing resources. In the year 2027, the monetary system completely collapsed. The world was essentially bankrupt. This historic collapse transpired due to the energy crisis, arable land depletion, along with the lack of clean water. These factors, coupled with the debt collapse, inflation problems, and the increasing rate of poverty, led to global, civil unrest and violence. World governments implemented a strategy called debt forgiveness, in which the debt people had yet to pay was eliminated in an attempt to save the system. Even though countries were saved, civilian uprising persisted. In the end, the efforts of world governments failed, as people accepted that it was time to move past the monetary system. With the education from the Venus Project, created by Jacques Fresco, much of the world's population was already aware of the next evolutionary step. The Venus Project spent decades informing people about the possibilities a resource-based economy could bring. A resource-based economy was designed and organized with the goal of taking care of humanity through a systems approach. It took into account the material needs of all the world's people, the science of production, and the most efficient means to optimize production distribution. Strategic preservation, safety, and efficiency were executed to ensure resources were used responsibly, and that goods were designed to last as long as possible. Ownership became an irrelevant human activity. The scientific method was applied to every aspect of society. Unlike religion or politics, science has no ego. It is inherently falsifiable. Science demands that its ideas be tested and replicated. Therefore, it is constantly evolving. Much like society, civilization was updated to present-day knowledge, to create the society we live in today. A society of abundance for our entire global human civilization. This type of economy eliminated exploitation, corruption, class, limited technologies, pollution, war, and poverty. Revolutions were no longer distanced by centuries, but now occurred within decades of each other. The clean energy revolution came to fruition in 2013. With the paralyzing influence of money abolished, new, clean energy solutions were no longer hindered. Abundant, renewable clean energy was implemented into every single aspect of society. Fossil fuels were hardly used again. Humans learned to cultivate the sun through solar energy. 1 hour at high noon of this type of energy contains more energy than what the entire world consumed in 1 year. Fully utilizing wind energy, using 8% of the land, of what used to be known as the United States, provided enough energy to power the entire area. Tidal power and wave power captured the motions of the oceans. This energy produces 80,000 terawatt-hours per year. 50% of the world energy usage now comes from this energy source. Geothermal energy has an available supply of 13,000 zettajoules of planetary power. The entire world uses half a zettajoule a year, meaning 4,000 years of clean planetary power are available from this energy source alone. Geothermal energy regenerates itself. Therefore, it will power the Earth forever. Gas-powered automobiles, trains, and airplanes can now be seen in museums. Today, travel is achieved by maglev trains, which use magnets to propel people across the world. Early models ran at 4,000 miles per hour. This was to become the future of intercontinental travel. The mechanization revolution of 2040 saw the complete elimination of human labor. Up until this point, human beings were still involved in some capacity with labor activities. All human labor was now meticulously executed by machines. The nano-revolution of 2050 was astonishing. It brought about the mastery of arranging and rearranging atoms. Diseases were eradicated. Garbage, from a generation ago, was completely recycled into useful elements. Replicators could synthesize any food a person cared for. Nanotechnology became the engine of abundance. And what became known as the conscious revolution of 2080 came about due to an entire generation of people who grew up in a resource-based economy. This generation didn't strive to live a life of empty materialism. Instead, people enjoyed becoming scientists and problem solvers. They looked back at the previous generation with disbelief that the monetary system lasted as long as it did. For a while, it looked bleak for humankind. There was great uncertainty whether we would survive our infancy as a civilization. However, with the help of caring citizens of the Earth, the monetary system was eradicated and a resource-based economy was implemented. Humans now live cohesively with their global environment. In a constantly evolving society that is continuously updated with new information, new technologies, and new ideas, humankind survived and prospered.
Take a straight and stronger course to the corner of your life. Just remember that the goal is for us all to capture all we want.